Hi, it's Paul Wolf from howtoplaybassdotcom. Today's lesson we're going to learn how to play Break On Through to the Other Side by The Doors. Originally this was played by Ray Manzarek on keyboard bass, but I'm going to show you the bass line. It's fun to play along to. Sometimes you might be in a live context where the keyboard player wants to do something else and you've got to cover the bass line, so definitely worth checking out. As with a lot of the recent tutorials, we're going to introduce each section with a little play along, slowed down, with a band in a box sketch track. I think from memory the band in a box sketch track is about 150 beats per minute. The original is somewhere up around the 180 beats per minute mark. So although it's a fairly simple song in terms of what's being played, it is quite up-tempo, so depending on what level you are, you may need to work up towards that and play slowly. If so, then do that. Before we go and look at the first section, which is the intro, if you're not subscribed to my free monthly e-zine, click on the link underneath the video, head over to my website, find the page that says free bass lessons. It's linked from the right hand side of every page on the website. Go sign up and you'll get access to a free monthly video and PDF tutorial which is exclusive to subscribers. Also, as a thank you for entrusting me with your email address, you'll also get a sequence of emails again with video and PDF tutorials to a bunch of songs over the next 2-3 weeks. So it's definitely worth doing that. You definitely get value for entrusting me with your email address. So go do that, then come back and we're going to start the tutorial itself with the intro. So you just heard the intro with the band in a box sketch track. On the original, there's a 2-bar kind of drum pattern that brings it in. You've got this 2-bar pattern that's repeated 3 times. Notes are E and B, 2 pairs of notes effectively, roots and fifths. E and B, 7th fret of the A string for E, and 9th fret of the D string for B, and 5th fret of the A string for D, the second pair, and A, the 7th fret of the D string. And what you've got is E, B, D, A, E, B, B, D, A. And you've got that kind of syncopated rhythm. Okay, so that plays 3 times, and then we go to the verse, which is another 6-bar section, which has got a variation of this pattern. Let's go look at the verse. Verse is a 6-bar pattern, a variation of the basic intro groove. What you've got is this. So let's do the first 2 bars to start with. Now, this is almost identical to the groove we used in the intro. The difference is, in that second bar, we're going to the octave of D rather than the low D. So the first bar, E, B, D, A, E, B, B, D, A. This time, the D is the octave at the 7th fret of the G string. So those 2 bars again. And then the second 2 bars are a kind of a variation of the groove with the first D going to the octave. So this is what we're going to play in the second 2 bars. So you've got E, B, octave D, 7th fret of the G string again, A, 7th fret of the D string, back to E, and then which is B, B, D, A. Don't forget the syncopated rhythm. Then the next 2 bars you're just playing just hits on the D 5th fret of the A string again. So I'm going to play that 6-bar pattern so you can see the notes and hear the kind of syncopated rhythm, but really slowly. Then you'd be into the chorus. We'll do chorus 1 and chorus 2 separately because they have different kind of 4-bar tags at the end of them. Okay, chorus 1. You've got a 6-bar figure where the chords are just E minor. Jim Morrison is just singing Break On Through to the Other Side over the top. And then you've got a 4-bar repeat of the intro riff, which then leads us back into verse 2. So the first thing to do is the 6-bar pattern, which is just a 1-bar pattern played 6 times. It's just an arpeggio figure, kind of an arpeggio figure. We don't use the 3rd. You've got E, 7th fret of the A string, B, 9th fret of the D string again, octave D, 7th fret of the G string, octave E, 9th fret of the G string, and that pattern, just 4 quarter notes, is played 6 times. Obviously much faster than that. Then when you've played it 6 times, we've got the 2-bar pattern that we used in the intro played twice, and then you'd be into verse 2. Then we go, verse 2 is the same as verse 1. Then we want to look at chorus 2, because chorus 2 leads to the solo, and what's used in that 4-bar tag changes. Okay, chorus 2. Again, we've got the 6 bars with this pattern. This E, kind of E minor arpeggio, even though we don't have the minor 3rd. Just E, B, D, and E, as we looked at for chorus 1. That's played 6 times. Then we've got the solo comes in, and there's 2 things you could play. It's quite difficult to hear because the guitarist is playing effectively doubling the intro riff, but what I think Ray Manzarek is playing on his keyboard bass is this. Over and over, which is just the root and 5th. So for E, you've just got E and B, 7th and 9th frets of the A and D strings respectively, and then for the, sorry, it's E minor, not E, and then for the D chord, you've got D and A, 5th and 7th frets of the A and D strings respectively. So with that pattern, quarter note, 2 8th notes. And if you have a listen to the recording, I think that's what's played underneath most of the solo. And then when Jim Morrison starts, he kind of throws in some ad-lib vocals, and then we go back to that pattern, and then we get on to verse 3, and then the tune progresses from there. But those parts are all the parts you'll need to play through the song. I'll put on the page where this is embedded on the howtoplaybass.com website, I'll put a format map showing you how to play through, how to connect the parts together so you can play through the entire song. But those are essentially the parts, so if you learn them, combine them with the format map on the howtoplaybass.com website, then you'll be able to play through this tune.